What if history's greatest wartime mysteries weren't buried in books, but in the depths of the sea? For decades, they were just whispers, submarines that vanished without a trace during World War II. No wreckage, no survivors, just silence. But now, the oceans are starting to give up their secrets, and what's surfacing is rewriting everything we thought we knew. Let's dive deep into these real-life ghost stories that finally got answers. But before we start our story, smash the like button, make sure to subscribe, and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. June 2019. Off the coast of Okinawa, Japan, a team of explorers led by undersea detective Tim Taylor made an extraordinary discovery. The USS Greyback, a U.S. Navy submarine that had vanished in 1944 during a top-secret mission, was finally found after 75 years beneath the waves. The twist? The coordinates had been wrong all along. A tiny translation error in Japanese war records sent searchers to the wrong spot for decades. It took researcher Yutaka Iwasaki to notice the mistake. Armed with the corrected data, Taylor's team deployed high-tech autonomous underwater vehicles and remotely operated cameras. Then, 1,400 feet below the surface, history stared back at them. The Greyback, intact, silent, and perfectly preserved by the cold ocean. The discovery wasn't just technical, it was deeply human. 80 sailors had gone down with the vessel. Now, their families finally had a place to mourn. The U.S. Navy confirmed the wreck, calling it a chance to honor heroes lost in the fight for freedom. But the oceans weren't done talking. In 2023, hundreds of miles away in the North Atlantic, a Norwegian research team from the Maria project was mapping the seabed when their equipment picked up something strange, a blip, an anomaly. So they sent down a camera, and what it revealed looked like a submarine. Could it be HMS Thistle, a British submarine lost in 1940? The clues fit. The wreck was lying at 525 feet below, exactly where the Thistle was last seen patrolling the Norwegian coast. Further scans revealed features unique to that class of submarine, leading experts to believe this was indeed her final resting place. The final confirmation would come from the Royal Navy, but the evidence was compelling. History remembers Thistle's last battle. After firing 6 torpedoes at a German U-boat and missing, she was struck by a retaliatory torpedo and sunk, taking all 53 crew with her. For over 80 years, no one knew where she'd gone, until now. In December 1941, HMS Triumph dropped off British intelligence officers on the Greek island of Antiparos. But when it returned for extraction in January 1942, it never showed. The Triumph had simply disappeared. For decades, the sub was presumed lost somewhere in the Aegean Sea. But in June 2023, Greek diver Kostas Thocterides, after 20 years of searching, finally found her, 666 feet below the surface near Cape Sunion. The sub's hatches were sealed. Her periscope was down. She was submerged when disaster struck. The damage pointed to an internal explosion or maybe a naval mine. But the discovery brought closure to the families of 64 crew members who had vanished without a trace, and it proved that even the coldest mysteries can eventually thaw. Not all undersea legends are allied. In 1989, famed Titanic explorer Dr. Robert Ballard set out to find the Bismarck, Germany's mighty battleship that had terrorized the Atlantic before being sunk in May 1941. After an unsuccessful first attempt in 1988, Ballard returned a year later. On June 8, 1989, he located the wreck, resting upright nearly 16,000 feet below the surface, west of France. The ship was battered but eerily intact, her guns still in place, her massive frame largely preserved. Germany immediately declared it a war grave. No one was to disturb it. The Bismarck remains not just a shipwreck, but a solemn monument to the 2,100 sailors who went down with her. Another mystery would take decades and a grandson's determination to solve. HMS Urge left Malta in April 1942, bound for Egypt with 32 crew, 11 passengers, and a war correspondent on board. But it never arrived. It was as if the ocean had swallowed it whole. In 2017, Francis Dickinson, the grandson of the sub's commander, teamed up with maritime archaeologists. By 2019, they'd located the wreck near the Maltese coast. The Urge was found upright, her bow blown open, likely by a naval mine. In 2021, divers confirmed her identity by spotting the word Urge engraved on the conning tower. After nearly 80 years, the families finally had an answer and a grave to visit. October 1943, the USS Wahoo, an American submarine feared by the Japanese for its daring missions, vanished in the Sea of Japan. No survivors, no distress signal, just silence. It would take over 60 years to find her. A team of Japanese, Russian, and American explorers joined forces, following war records and sonar clues. What if history's greatest wartime mysteries weren't buried in books, but in the depths of the sea? In 2006, a Russian dive team finally found the wreck resting at 213 feet with bomb damage around the conning tower. The U.S. Navy confirmed the find. Families of the 80 crew members finally received closure. For many, it was the first tangible connection to loved ones lost in a war that refused to let go. Just when you think the ocean has given up all its secrets, it reveals something that leaves even seasoned explorers stunned. Let's continue our journey into the forgotten world of World War II submarines, each one lost beneath the waves, only to be rediscovered decades later in ways no one ever expected. The USS Grunion wasn't just a submarine, it was a hero in steel. After rescuing survivors from a torpedoed ship, she headed off to patrol near Alaska's Aleutian Islands in July 1942. Reports show she sank enemy patrol boats, but then she vanished. Nothing, no signals, no debris. The Grunion simply disappeared. Fast forward over 60 years. 3 brothers, sons of the Grunion's commanding officer, Lieutenant Commander Manert L. Abeli, weren't content with stories. They wanted answers. They formed a team, scanned the seafloor near Kiska Island, and there she was. At 1,000 feet deep, a wreck matching Grunion's dimensions appeared, but something was missing. The bow. It had been blown off, possibly by a malfunctioning torpedo that circled back and struck its own sub. In 2019, the Lost 52 project found the missing bow section over 4 miles away. For the families of the 70 lost crew, the discovery brought a bittersweet peace. And one chilling question: did the Grunion sink herself? July 1940. HMS Narwhal, a British submarine on a mission to lay mines off Norway, vanished without a trace. For 77 years, its fate was unknown until 2017. A Polish expedition stumbled upon a wreck in the North Sea near Scotland. Its dimensions, structure, and features pointed to a British submarine. Then came the final clue. German military reports from July 23, 1940, describing an attack on a surfacing sub matching Narwhal's route exactly. Confirmation came from the smallest of details, like the torpedo layout and hull structure. Finally, the Narwhal had surfaced from history. In a deeply moving moment, members of the Polish team met with the crew's surviving relatives. One woman, 80-year-old Tamara Lowe, had barely known her father until that day. For her and many others, the discovery was a bridge to a past that had always felt out of reach. The USS Lagarto was a Belau-class sub, strong and sleek, under the command of Frank D. Latta. In May 1945, she entered the Gulf of Thailand for her second war patrol and was never heard from again. Then, in 2005, British diver Jamie McLeod spotted something eerie at 225 feet beneath the waves. A submarine, mostly intact, with open torpedo tubes and a gaping hole in the port bow. A follow-up mission in 2006 confirmed what many had hoped and feared. It was the Lagarto. U.S. Navy divers captured over 500 photos and 10 hours of footage. The ship's unique markings, 5-inch deck gun, and engraved propeller left no doubt. The cause? Likely a battle with a Japanese mine layer. The explosion had been sudden, devastating, But now, at least, the story was complete. March 1942. The USS Perch was under heavy attack by Japanese destroyers near Java. Severely damaged and unable to dive, the crew scuttled the sub to prevent capture. They were taken prisoner. 6 never returned. The wreck remained lost until 2006, when divers searching for another ship accidentally stumbled upon a submarine. Clearing silt from a plaque, they read, USS Perch. The sub was intact, upright, and preserved like a time capsule. For the few remaining survivors, it was a powerful and emotional moment. One sailor even joked, "I left $35 in my locker. I want it back." Sadly, between 2006 and 2016, the site was looted by illegal salvage operations. A reminder that even in death, these vessels need protecting. In April 1940, HMS Tarpon set out into dangerous waters off Denmark. Then, she disappeared. Over 76 years later, a team of Danish and British divers found her wreck, upright on the seabed at 130 feet. The conning tower was visible. The torpedo tubes were empty. She'd gone down fighting. Records later confirmed a battle with a German Q-ship that had detected the sub after a failed torpedo attack. The enemy dropped a crushing wave of depth charges. Tarpon never surfaced again. But now, thanks to modern sonar and the passion of explorers, her story is no longer a mystery. April 1943. HMS Regent left Malta on a patrol mission and never came back. Theories swirled, rumors grew, but the truth remained elusive. That changed in May 2022 when Italian divers discovered a wreck off the coast of Monopoly. What if history's greatest wartime mysteries weren't buried in books, but in the depths of the sea? At 75 meters deep, they spotted unmistakable features: 6 forward torpedo tubes, a length matching British Rainbow-class submarines, and structural details only found in HMS Regent. Local stories from 1943 spoke of a huge offshore explosion, then oil and wreckage drifting to shore. Even the bodies of 4 British sailors washed up days later. All the signs pointed to a tragic end. At last, the Regent's silent chapter could be closed. Commanded by the fearless Lieutenant Commander Dudley "Mush" Morton, the USS Wahoo was the stuff of legend, until it vanished in 1943 in the Sea of Japan. 60 years passed. Then, in 2006, after decades of collaboration between Japanese, Russian, and American teams, a wreck was found. Upright, battered, and unmistakably Gato class. Only one sub of that type had gone missing there: Wahoo. The conning tower bore the scars of a brutal attack. Records confirmed a 7-hour battle, gunfire, depth charges, oil slicks. It wasn't just a wreck, it was a battlefield, frozen in time. A final testament to the 80 men who never came home. These aren't just submarines, they're time machines. Steel tombs holding not just bodies, but stories, legacies, and truths the sea tried to keep hidden. For decades, families waited, historians searched, and now, thanks to technology and human perseverance, these ghosts of the deep are being heard once again. Each rediscovered wreck reminds us of a chilling truth: the sea never forgets. Did any of these discoveries surprise you? Tell us in the comments which story hit you the hardest. Like this video if you believe these heroes deserve to be remembered. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible true stories from beneath the surface of history.